Hello everyone, this is Wally Dellenbach coming to you from Indiana on this first day of fall. It's a lovely day outside and thank you for taking some of your time to watch this video on basically the mechanics of your Ludwig hardware and how to take care of it and how to clean it and some of the tools that you might use to help repair some damage. So right off the bat, we'll get down to some threads, and we're going to talk about the threads on your tension rods and your tension rod here, and then we have a T handle with a claw, and right off the bat we're going to talk about some threads. This is called a tap, and the size of this tap is a 1224. This is a die, and it's a 1224 die. There's a little relief cut in there to help set the, basically I think it's called a thread pitch maybe, how deep your thread cuts. So, it's called pitch diameter actually. So 1224 tap, 1224 die, and so let's get down to it. Now, on your this is a Ludwig large classic lug. If you ever have any one of these go bad, or if there's a burr or something's kind of obstructing it, we'll take this apart. I've got to take the spring out. Let me take this off. Go ahead and... Now, just for sake of this demonstration, I'm going to call this a tension rod receiver. Okay. Now, typically what I do, if there's any, I put a little bit of household oil on this because we want this to run smoothly and cut smoothly, and so I'll go ahead and start that in, and okay, so we've got that taken care of. I'll run it to the tip. Now this tap on here, this is what's called a starting tap. There's starting taps and bottoming taps, and it has angle cut in here, and the threads kind of are ground down a little bit until you see a full form thread on it. And I recommend using a starting tap on this just because you don't want to cross thread anything and really probably ruin this thing if you did cross threaded it. Okay, so there's that. So that's how you clear out any debris, burrs, or obstructions that might be in your receiver, your tension rod receiver. Okay. So now with a tension rod, this is a die, 1224 die, and the die is set up the same way, just in reverse. It has a little bit of relief, we'll call it a countersink, where you start your thread at. Now the opposite side, it's a full form thread. Okay, so you'll get two different results if you do use one of the two different sides. I recommend starting off on, and this is if you have any burrs or obstructions on your thread. Okay, I recommend starting off on the side that has the relief cut in it, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in my wrench. What I'm going to do, before I tighten that down, I'm going to take this out and tighten this up. Now the more I put compression on this, it's got a little, here it is. Okay, so now the more I tighten this up, the more there's going to be compression in that little relief. Okay, so let's talk about your tension rods. This is a Ludwig tension rod. This one right here is not. These are chrome plated, okay, and typically when you chrome plate an item, it's going to add a couple thousandths. That's the thickness of your chrome plating. Now when you start running dies over your threaded parts with chrome plating, it's going to have a tendency to maybe rip some of your chrome plating off of it. Okay, and once you start ripping that chrome plating off, no telling where you can go. So the use of this tool basically is only an extreme for something that's kind of damaged, and if it is, the way I do it is, let's see if I maybe over tighten that, because if you over tighten, okay, there it goes. So I'm going to get it started by hand because once again you don't want to put that in there and cross thread it. Okay. Now I've got a nice little, this was from a drum tuning key, and I cut the thumb, the thumb tightening part of it off and put it in my lathe and kind of filed it down. Got a drill, and what I'll do is just run that in like so. Back it off. Now, here's one of the things, you know, I mentioned about ripping the chrome off. I don't think this is going to do it, and I'll tell you why. Because they actually make tools or tooling that accounts for chrome plating. So when you order stuff like this, the tooling manufacturers know. You know, you say I'm going to chrome plate a part. I'm not even going to waste my time talking about it. But this is just a standard 1224 die, okay? So, talked about chrome plating, talked about 1224s. For those of you taking notes, 1224 tap, 1224 die, okay? Now, we'll move into the lugs. So that covered your tension rods and your lug receivers on your classic large lugs or the small lugs. What I have here is a demonstration of a twin lug with a broken boss. Okay, you can see how that boss, the receiver for the mounting screw, I call it a boss, is broken off. There's still some threaded threads down inside of the body of this. Now, this is a different tap. Okay, this is what is called. This is an 832. 832. Okay. Now, if you look on a drill chart, a tap and drill chart, to what you want to do if you ever have this one. If you can afford to buy a new one, you know, go ahead and buy a new one. But you won't get something that's era specific, and it's awfully hard just to maybe find one lug that's broke. It's been my experience that here's my theory on why this breaks, is because when you put the mounting screws in, the mounting screws don't go all the way into the body. So the mounting screws just kind of hold on here onto this boss part right here, okay? And over time, when you're, you know, cranking up on, smacking the heck out of your snare drum, this is going to have a tendency to fracture, okay? And that's my guess what happened. Now there's a way to fix it. Like I said, this is an this is an 832 tap. What a lovely little tool, isn't it? Look at this set. I got this from a watchmaker, an old-time watchmaker, and this is just a beautiful set of taps and dies. I love it. Yeah, set that aside. Okay, so the drill for this, it's not going to be like a 5/30 seconds or 60, whatever. It's a number drill, and it's a number 29 drill. Okay, I know that because I've got a tap and drill chart, and for an 832 tap, you need a number 29 drill. All right. So what you would do is, you can see how this drill kind of goes down there a little bit. What you want to do, I'm not going to do it, is just you want to drop a little bit of oil in there and drill, and you know, you've got plenty of room to drill. Just be sure you don't drill through the hole here where your receiver is. And then what you do is just come, now this is called, we have a starting tap here, and this is what's called a bottoming tap, okay? And since I've already I've drilled it, and if you want to, maybe you can wrap a little bit of tape around here so you know how deep you're going in. You know, just come out here with your thumb and kind of gauge it a little bit. Please, for safety's sake, don't hold this and drill it. Don't hurt yourself, okay? And I'm not going to drill it on my kitchen countertop here either. So drill it to the depth, and then take a bottoming tap. And of course, you want to blow out any debris. I've got a compressor out in my garage, and my tool shop is out there. You'll want to blow out any debris first before you tap, and then put some oil in there, and then run your. I better sit this over here. Grab your 832 tap, and then go ahead. And what the way you do it is you get it started, and you'll get a little bit of resistance. But when you start, just kind of back it up and give it some relief. And if it keeps kind of boogering up, just take it all the way out and blow it off. Not in your kitchen though, of course. Blow it off. Blow this out again, drop a little bit more oil in there. And what you want to try to do is get down to the bottom of your drill where you drilled from. And so there you go. Now of course you're going to have to get a longer screw to mount this. And that way, at least, what you're going to do is you'll keep your drum, your snare drum, consistent, I guess, or I call it error correct. So yeah, you've got a little damaged part, but so what? In the big scheme of things, I even think they might make nylon bushings where you can put a little nylon bushing in here to act as a spacer, so this doesn't have a tendency to wobble once it's mounted to your shell. Okay? Enough said about that. Now, so I've covered tapping, some of the mechanical parts of your snare drum, or drums, or hardware for that matter. Let's talk now about cleaning, okay? Cleaning, I've seen a lot of different examples of the way people clean their chrome and their drum parts. I've been drumming for 40 years, and basically every drum set that I've bought, sold, played, traded, I've restored, okay? And what do I mean by restoring? I take it apart piece by down to its very last piece and clean it as best as I can. Dress the bearing edges up again, try to polish the drums up really nice. Some drums are a complete rehab, and some are tough, and some are real loving, gentle jobs. So I've enjoyed every one of them. I've seen people clean chrome or their lugs by using buffing wheels, and this is a buffing. Excuse the Hoosier twang, buffing. This is a buffing wheel, and you could get these at any hardware store, local supply store, if you will, and put this on your bench grinder. And this is a buffing compound. You could buy this out of like McMaster Car or tooling catalog. And this is a medium. Okay, it's just like car wax, and you apply this to your wheel, and then you buff your chrome against the wheel. Now, I've worked in the faucet manufacturing industry for a lot of years, and what will happen is that when you start buffing this chrome, is that it's going to build up friction and heat. Okay, and what might result, and what typically has resulted, and I've seen a lot of it in industry, is you burn your chrome. Remember, I said chrome is only about 2/1000 to 3/1000 thick. Okay, and a little bit of friction on this and a little bit of heat is going to burn your chrome. And how you're going to know you burn it is there's going to be a halo around it, like a bluish halo, and it'll turn your chrome, it'll just dull it and make it gray. Okay, so if I'm on the internet shopping for lugs and somebody says, hey, I put these on a buffing wheel, and I'm going to say, well, maybe I want to think twice about buying these. Okay, I have seen some guys do some nice job on some old nickel plated ones and shine them up really good. But that's nickel plating. I'm talking about specifically about chrome, okay? So you can burn chrome. So, in my exploits, what I've done over the years, I've been drumming for 40 years, like I said, restoring drum sets, is I use SOS, and I've got demonstration here. I've got a cleaning tub full of soap and tension rods, and then I've got a rinsing tub right here. One of the things you want to do, of course, is apply Murphy's Law, and I'm going to put my sink drain in, because if you drop a tension rod or a little washer down there and you've got a disposer, you're in trouble. Always apply Murphy's Law, okay? Now, okay, I'm going to go back here to this tool. Maybe I showed you this. I've got a nice little drum key that I've altered for my drill, and it's a really quick, simple process, and I'm going to show you here. I'm restoring a Ludwig-Musser black Vistalite. It's a Power Factory set, and I'm really excited about it. So I've got all my lugs in here, or tension rods, I'm sorry. And what I've got, this is SOS brand. Okay, now don't get excited, okay? You're going to say, oh, he's dipping metal parts in water and they're going to rust and corrode. I have been doing this for years, and I've never had one problem with using, and I'm going to be very specific, I've always used SOS, and I've not used anything else. Don't use a green Scotch-Brite pad, don't use brand X, don't use brand Y, SOS only, okay? And you don't have to bear down, you don't have to scrub hard, just be gentle. You can, here, and I'll give you a demonstration. I do it on I could do it on stands, I do it on T-rods, anything that's chrome plated, even the bumper in your car, okay? Never scratched it. You dip it in there, just scrub lightly, you don't have to bear down and get crazy, and just put a couple strokes on each surface, okay? On this, you've got the 3 flutes in there, You know, get down in there, give it a little gentle love and care. Don't you love this? I love making things beautiful again. But sometimes you can appreciate the old kind of haggard, beat up. There's nostalgia in that, okay? But we typically like our chrome nice and bright and shiny. Okay, so, and here even down in the, where you have the spring that's inserted, I'll get down in there and give it a little scrub. Okay, now what I'll do is take it and rinse it, and then we'll, I don't have a towel here with me, but you want to dry this off, and then what I do is take my compressed air and I'll put it down in the threaded bosses and blow the water out. Blow the water out. Okay, make sure that's all nice and dry, because you don't want to reassemble that with any water down in there, because I think your steel screws might get a little bit rusty and rust inside. Not good. Okay, so that's how I clean my lugs, and any chrome for that matter, stands, hoops, and it'll just scrub the rust right off of it. You know, of course, if you have flaking, you know, there might be a little bit of oxidation. You can see where this is oxidized a little bit, and it's kind of making the chrome a little bit bumpy. But still, it'll make it makes it nice and shiny, and won't scratch it'll clean it nicely. Okay. Now, cleaning tension rods. I'm going to give you an example. Let me grab one here, and here is an example of a clean one. Is on top. There's a clean one. Ooh. And down below is one that's uncleaned. All right. Look how beautiful that turned out. All right. And this is how I do it. Back to I kind of lost my place here. So SOS, right? In water, soapy water, rinse water. Oh man, he's putting, you know, metal into water and it's going to have an adverse effect. Water is the only element on the periodic table that exists in 3 states: a solid, a liquid, and a gas. So water's all around us right now as I'm speaking. We're breathing it, and it's on your metal parts, and it's not going to hurt washing this chrome. The only thing is that when you wash it, get it blown off with some compressed air. If you want to, take it out and blow it off with your compressor nozzle. I had a compressor nozzle up here somewhere. Compressor nozzle. Blow everything out. That way is a lot quicker. If you're going to redo a drum set and you don't have a compressor, get at least a couple cans of compressed air. Okay, so how I do my tension rods is take this, got my drill, and once you get going on a couple of these, and then just like a hot dog in the bun, okay, get that thing on there, and you're going to go one way, and then you're going to turn your reverse on, go the opposite way. All right. And what I do is I run that SOS pad all the way through over the shank and all the way up to the shoulder of the tension rod. Like so. Let that spin a little bit on there. Right back out. And drop it in the water. And there's the after. Okay. See how nice and beautiful that is. Now on the opposite side then, just take, I do this kind of all in one process. You know, I'll take all the tension rods, and you'll notice once you get going here, get a little process going, getting the rhythm of things, run that thing up there, back it out. Oh, that's just lovely, beautiful. Okay, and then once I get all these done, then I'll just take them all out and come back and clean the heads off, the square heads. Just give it a little scrub and just dump them back in the bowl here. The soap. I've got a little degreaser in there. Here's one. Look how bad that is. Okay, that's just that's awful. So let's give it a go. Get a little bit of soapy water on that. Now, as I'm going in tightening this, I'm going to take and when I'm going in reverse, I'm pushing down into my screw. My neighbor's mowing her lawn. Kind of like the Red Green Show, isn't it? No chainsaw, just a lawnmower. All right, lovely, right? Well, there you go. Look how nice that turned out, see? Boom. Spectacular. Alright, so that's that. Alright, so T-rods, okay, bass drum T-rods. Of course, I don't have any tooling that can I can rotate that in. So all I do is I clean this by hand. I'll grab my SOS pad, give it a turn, back it up a little bit, and you know, if you want to, you could even kind of give it a scrub like this. Go down the shank of it, and then put it in your SOS pad like so. Give it a little scrubbing. Now this is a two-part piece, okay? Remember, this is your 1224 thread, and this is a threaded part, threaded shank right here, and then what they did was, this is cast aluminum. Back in the old days, on the ones that have the real nice circular, symmetrical type of, boy, those are made out of brass, those are just jewels. These are threaded shank, and then there's a knurl up in this head, and then what they do is compress, it's called a compression fit, and press that down in there. So when you clean this, of course, being space up in there, what I'll do is of course I'll blow it out with my compressor, but you could blow the air out with some canned air and blow if there's any water up in there, and then dry this off. So there's that. Alright, now as you can see in here, these are sitting in degreaser, and just household degreaser, and these are receivers. They're made out of brass, and these are maybe some kind of plating, nickel plating maybe, I don't know, whatever it is, it's not very shiny. And then I've actually got some large chrome plated brass from the classic lugs. And how I clean these is, because they're too small, right, and I don't have the time or patience to go through each one. So this, what I'm doing here is I'm giving you an example of a process in manufacturing that's still used today. It's called tumble cleaning, and what I'll do is I'll just put a little bit of water in there with some cleaner, dish soap, and then just kind of shake these a little bit, turn it around. And you can see that, you know, that's debris and grime is starting to come off. Okay, so that's called tumble cleaning. There's an example of it. And then when you're done, get these out and rinse them out. So we'll take them out, rinse them off. Of course, dry them off first before you do this, and then blow any water off that's inside of that. Okay. So I covered a lot of information. Thanks for watching. I'm grateful, and I know you have a busy schedule and devoting time to watch something that I do. I'm flattered, and I appreciate it very much. I'm trying to pass on some information to you, some tips, some tricks. Once again, don't get upset about washing your parts in water. Just be sure to dry them off quickly. You don't want water spots. Always use compressed air to blow out your threaded mounting bosses. You don't want any water sitting in there. And anything I don't cover, feel free to write a comment or ask me any questions. I will do everything I can to help you. Until next time, remember, your drums will outlast you. It's your job that while you're playing them and working them, just be the best that you can be. Always take care of your gear. And until next time, I'll see you. Thanks for watching.